All right, so today we have a bit of a sad story. I don't know if you guys remember Frank Tufano. This is back a while ago on this channel when I talked about this situation, and I looked a hell of a lot different as well as a lot older. It was when I wasn't look maxing and I was taking a copious amount of anabolic steroids, but it is what it is. Frank Tufano, he was basically a carnivore guy. He was talking about cell towers and he can't be around them. He was talking about all sorts of weird stuff. The kind of guy that's saying, hey, you can't wear underwear and weird type shit, right? Whatever.
Why did the tigers at the Bronx Zoo get sick? I got an idea.
Is that possibly why the tigers at the Bronx Zoo got sick? Because there is a giant cell antenna pointed at the Bronx Zoo.
Frank had a bit of an issue. He was a very attractive individual and looked super good with what I believe to be an Italian background. He had a great physique and he had truly what was considered by most females who followed him an attractive face. You'd see this in his comment section quite a bit, but that wasn't enough for Frank. After he garnered a lot of attention by trying different carnivore diets, eating raw meat, talking about sort of the comparisons between veganism, he, I don't know, got in his own head or something and basically decided that he needed to change his entire body. And so what he did was quite devastating. He got eye surgery, and specifically he got orbital decompression. I don't understand the surgery entirely, but to give you a gist of it, because it is a little bit of an estranged surgery, basically they break your nose around your eyes, they move the bones, move the skin, and try to reconstruct the face a little bit by changing where your muscle, skin, and bones are. It's a really invasive surgery. I mean, really, really invasive surgery. He also had surgery to reduce his chest size, something that's also quite interesting. You could say he had severe body dysmorphia. Now, Frank did have positive insights, right? He was not a grifter or someone that was a horrible human being. He was just a guy that talked about dieting in a different capacity than a lot of other people. So therefore, he gained a lot of traction on social media. We've talked about this before. Being convicted in a certain path usually makes people believe you. As long as you have conviction, you have followers. Now, I can't even begin to scratch the surface of the bizarre content that Frank Tufano has put out there on the internet, from all sorts of things talking about children, and it gets weird. His shit gets really, really weird. But we have more updates on his eye situation. So when he got that eye decompression surgery, it was botched. His eyes ended up cross-eyed. Lots of people commented and made statements about it. It became very clear to him that something wasn't right. As well, he couldn't see. He had double vision. His vision was very blurry. He had chronic headaches, and that continued to happen. He thought maybe it would get better after a week or 2 weeks, but nothing changed. And so he pursued this journey. He got 10 subsequent surgeries trying to correct the issue: his cross eyes, his actual double vision, his blurry vision, his complete, I mean, his eyes were crossed. It was pretty insane. This didn't fix anything. And unfortunately, we are left to this current situation, which I find so interesting that I have to make a video about it. Furthermore, what I also find interesting is that to begin all of this, to the very start of all of this, like I said, Frank was considered to be a very attractive male, someone that was considerably an idol for many males, someone who would be a desired look, but then decided to reconstruct his face for a look that many would even say in his comments section that they didn't prefer compared to the pre-surgery Frank. So where is Frank now? What is he doing in the realm of YouTube and TikTok and social media? What's going on with Frank?
This is what happened when I went to the #1 celebrity eye surgeon, Dr. Taban, and allowed him to do the procedures he recommended to improve my appearance. I trusted his years and years of expertise, his reputation as the #1 eye plastic surgery doctor, and I believed him and let him do the specific surgeries that he recommended to perform on me. And I'm sure after seeing these pictures, you guys can understand why I say this guy should be in prison, let alone practicing medicine, because it is completely disgusting and despicable how he could do this to my face and not care or not try to help me at all, even gaslight and lie and manipulate me to attempt to say that I look fine and I look perfectly okay. okay? And he's still hiring shills in these comments. You can go look on all the recent videos I posted to defend him and try to blame me and say I shouldn't have gotten this or I shouldn't have gotten that. These people are desperate. They're backed into a corner. They don't want the truth and reality of this scam of plastic surgery exposed. Oh, I forgot to add, some of you guys are saying you look better now. Yeah, I've already had 10 corrective procedures and I'm still half blind and I still have to get a few more surgeries. So just to address that, for you guys that's saying I look a lot different, yeah, about $100,000 later and 5 times going under anesthesia since, in the span of a year.
So this is just a really brief overview of what happened by Frank, and you can see that he went to go get surgery by this eye doctor and it was botched. He started to make these videos frequently, calling out this exact doctor and saying quite clearly not positive things. And this doctor took it quite seriously. He actually filed a lawsuit, hired people to take down these videos, basically, that Frank kept posting on the internet. The doctor was not happy. Botched or not botched, Frank was making some accusations that were pretty serious. And the doctor, of course, protecting his own business, did what anybody would likely do in a situation where they're jeopardizing one person online, could potentially jeopardize their entire income. Now, again, I'm not saying that's morally correct, but put into a corner, this individual decided to sue Frank in this case.
A lot of negative things happened to me over these past few years, and this botched plastic surgery was kind of like the nail in the coffin. I was just hoping I could get some compensation so that I could, have some closure with the employees and the people that depend on me. It's getting to the point where I don't even care about that anymore. I basically wake up every day, try to drug myself back to sleep, and then if not, I go into work a few hours, I'm home, eat something, and then lay in bed the rest of the day and just repeat it. So really find joy in anything anymore, and it's part of the things that happened to me. It's part of all the health issues I've had. I've basically given up and quit YouTube at this point. I've forced myself to post and get in front of the camera and do things as minimally as possible just to keep things going so my business doesn't completely fall apart. But I just don't know how much longer I can do this.
So this video is basically describing every video he's posted since this event over a year ago now. And that has been the premise of his content, is filming and talking about the journey of him having this botched eye surgery into trying to fix it and talking about the surgery and trying to get compensation for it. Before I even get too far into this, there's also this thing where he's been sued by an electric company, and I don't understand the full story here, nor do I want to pretend that this is originally a story I picked up because of fitness, and it devolved. It completely devolved, and man, we are on a different track now. But yeah, he got sued by an electric company. Check this out.
So we just got out of the Scranton courthouse. We had a hearing for the temporary restraining order so that the electric company doesn't turn off my power while we're trying to settle this dispute. They basically charged me $5,000 for 3 months of residential electric service, and when I tried to call them to get them to double check it, make sure it wasn't a billing error, that they just danced around basically extorting me, saying, hey, you have to pay us $5,000 or we're going to turn your power off. Nothing reasonable whatsoever. So I had to file the lawsuit. And at this hearing, my assumption was, we just have to see that there's a clear dispute, that there's a clear issue that needs to be settled, and then we can grant the restraining order. But for some reason, the judge was allowing the electric company to make arguments against the case. And I'm like, hold on. If they're making arguments against the case at all, that means there is a dispute here. So grant the restraining order so I have power while we settle this, but you don't really have any resolve against these people. What's crazy to me is they probably paid $10,000 to $15,000 in attorney fees, just the retainer to their attorney, instead of just, giving me the few $1,000 that would have resolved the issue. So this whole scenario is really crazy. I guess we'll find out what the judge says in a week or two. I guess worst case scenario is I'm going to buy a generator and bill my daily gas bill to PPL.
In which the comments are pretty clear on this problem, which seems that Frankie is basically just suing anybody and everybody for any inconvenience he has in life. I'm not saying the surgery wasn't botched and it's not okay for him to be suing that doctor or whatever, but he does seem to be just kind of talking about every public association possible as a wrongdoing to him and then suing them in a way that's probably not going to work well for him, because he's working against multi-billion-dollar companies here as a man with a few $1,000s on his own end trying to represent himself. It's not a great idea. Not a great idea. So I don't even know why he's suing them, but he's suing them. That's just one thing. And one person comments, this man has been in turmoil for like 2 years. At some point, you got to start thinking you're either the issue or your way ain't giving results, and it's time to figure out another other way, because man, your vibe is always on some victim against the government type shit. And I would actually agree with that. As we covered in his last video, he was talking all sorts of crap about how cell towers are bad, you can't live near them, how you got to use your phone safely, how all these different things. Meanwhile, posting about everything he's ever done in his life on social media. But I'm not trying to criticize the dude too hard here. It's just there's a lot of dichotomous information.
Yeah, one pretty important fact I forgot to include in the complaint is that I do use medical oxygen. So if they did cut my electric off, that would be a little bit of an issue, I guess, when I'm sleeping. So we made 3 more filings in the court today. The first was the notice of appeal, which is just appealing the judge's decision on not giving me the restraining order to keep my power on. The second was a motion to disqualify, which means I want to remove the current judge because I believe he's biased against me, and request for jury trial, which is my 7th Amendment right. So I want a jury trial to make a decision on the restraining order instead of a judge. And then I filed a new request for the injunctive relief, including that I'm on the medical oxygen and that it would be ridiculous, like if I had to rent a generator to preserve my health and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, these judges in these courts can do whatever they want, so go figure.
Okay, so this goes on. He's claiming now that he has medical oxygen and that he needs that to live. For some reason, unclear as to why. This is just suddenly that it's now came up as a thing. And people are commenting that, honestly, I feel like Frank is a schizophrenic of some sort or psychosis. I agree. There's definitely some issues here. I can't believe I used to take this guy seriously. Frank, it is a blessing in disguise. If your electricity is off, then they can no longer hurt you with their Wi-Fi router. Yeah. So developing is a situation that's, I guess, not so viable, but this is neither here nor there. I'm talking about the surgery that he had, or at least trying to get there, but there's a lot to comb through here. We've been gone for 6 months. I mean, so much can happen.
So it's been about a year and a half since Dr. Taban botched my eyes. Basically ended my YouTube career, which my business was dependent on, and I never thought I'd be in a situation where I'd have to ask for money because I was pretty financially stable. But 10 surgeries later and my insurance isn't covering this stuff, and I still have to go see more plastic surgeons to attempt to fix this. I'm basically ready to give up, and I don't know how much longer it's going to take, but hopefully we can get some remediation from the doctor himself. But I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I think this guy would rather see his practice burned to the ground than give any of his victims a penny. So we made a private website on botchedbytaban.com. You guys can donate.
So now what is happening is that Frank is starting a fundraiser to afford all of his surgeries. And he says that the botched surgery that he had gotten over a year ago was what ruined his YouTube career. It ruined his business online and basically put him in shambles. He can no longer afford things, and so he has to ask the audience for more money. But I can't help but think this is just a really odd predicament to be in, because the man was, again, like a straight 8 out of 10, no homo, and he could have been just ripping content and have been so great, but decided that his face wasn't attractive enough because he had bags under his eyes.
One of you guys suggested I start a give, send, go, but you don't understand that the elite control all these platforms, and this doctor is so connected that there is no way they are going to allow me to collect any money for what this guy did to me. You can't even leave a Google review. These people will continue to censor, shadow ban, and harass me. They have a network and plan and things you would not believe to ensure their finances go untouched. So, I mean, I'll make the campaign, but you guys will see. We made a website last night and I didn't even get one donation. This is why I can't recommend anyone ever get plastic surgery in general, because of how this system is set up. The doctor will not help you. He will not fix what he did to you. He will not give you any money. He will not compensate you. The lawyers will not help you. And even if you're smart enough to file your own lawsuit, the judges will rule in favor of the doctor and your life will be completely ruined. This whole system around doctors and hospitals and medicine is completely corrupt and crooked, and it's meant to extract as much money from the victims as possible and put it in the doctor's pockets. They will never be held accountable for their actions, and you should not get any surgery under any circumstance.
And so as you can see, he's also claiming that the companies and the system is working against him, and that's why no one is donating to his Fund Me projects to help him pay for something. We don't really know what, corrective surgeries, law filings, I don't know, which unfortunately, he might be right. He's only raised $60 out of the $400,000 target target that he has for this goal, which is bizarre. But $60, we're getting there or somewhere close.
So this evil doctor mutilates my face and then hires people to gang stalk me. And when I called them out for it, they got their buddies at TikTok to remove the video. Removed for integrity and authenticity. As if you can't see the dozens and dozens of hateful comments that people are leaving on my videos in order to sway the opinion. What they do is they censor and they shadow ban me. They make sure people don't watch my videos, and then they get their cronies, these gang stalkers, these agents, to leave negative comments to make me look like I'm a scammer or I'm lying or stuff like that, just so they don't get exposed to what they're doing to hardworking, honest people. These people ruined my face. I spent all my money trying to get it fixed, and now that I ask for help, they're continuing to censor and shadow ban me and hide the truth of what they did to me. It's completely disgusting and despicable.
And so now he is saying that the doctor that has botched his surgery is trying to dismantle his social media presence by hiring people to take apart his social media and as well to sue him. Meanwhile, as he's supposed to be attending law proceedings, he is getting more surgery. Check this out.
I just got back from my orbital reconstruction surgery, which is the 5th procedure I've had in attempts to correct my eyes and vision. I'm a little relieved because this was the last resort. This was a very high-risk surgery. A lot could have gone wrong. It seems like things are doing okay so far. I haven't lost my vision. I'm not blind or anything. And the doctor said everything went really well and smooth because we were supposed to only do one eye at a time, but he did end up doing both eyes at the same time. So we're gonna see, hopefully a few days, I look a little better.
Yeah, this looks like what happens when you say Bloody Mary into the mirror 3 times at night. I don't know what we're even looking at. He got in another orbital eye reconstruction surgery, which would make this number 11, I think. Absolutely insane.
It is Friday, May 9th, 2025, and I am posting this video as proof that I'm physically incapacitated and unable to participate in any legal or court proceedings because these evil degenerates who made the statute on medical limitations 1 year are completely disgusting individuals. So despite still having to get medical care and undergo many surgeries, I have been forced to still have to participate in the court proceedings. So hopefully the judges in the federal and superior California court did receive my notice to delay the case, or someone sees this and tells them what I look like before they get crucified in front of a jury trial. So hopefully in a week or two, I'm looking and feeling a little better and my vision is better, and then hopefully only 1 or 2 more surgeries to get things right. I really should have just camped myself in front of this guy's office and made him write me a check and not put myself through any more of these surgeries.
But I won't lie, like, there is actually some really damning evidence against this Dr. Taban guy. It looks like he's botting, from what I can see, Frank's content with comment sections saying that he is a godsend of a doctor, he fixed Frank's eyes, and Frank is just continuing to mess them up. There's thousands of comments like this on Frank's TikTok and much more, as you can see in this video.
Looks like Dr. Taban has his full Illuminati goon squad on payroll, because after posting that orbital reconstruction video last night, I woke up to like 100 comments, literally 100 comments. Frank, leave your eyes alone. Dr. Taban already fixed them. Frank's raking Dr. Taban's expert repair on his eyes. Dr. Taban saved Frank's eyes. Why gamble with them again? Literally 100 comments. Frank got great results with Dr. Taban, now he's risking it. Frank's risking more harm after Taban already saved him. Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on with these screenshots, guys, but are these people that delusional, thinking they can warp reality by hiring people to post comments to try to sway the conversation? This is complete insanity, complete insanity.
But regardless of that fact, it does seem that Frank, current surgery at least, has made his eyes even more crossed. I don't understand what the hell is going on here, man. This guy, his entire brand was about being healthy, avoiding the sort of refinement of our society and technology, and living through natural means without the interruption of technology and the interruption of the fast-paced society that we live in. And now he still tries to talk about these things, but how can anyone trust him? His whole image was supposed to be a about avoiding technology and being ancestral in terms of his living. And this man has gotten over a dozen surgeries just in the past year alone, all for cosmetic reasons. Now, you could argue that each of those surgeries has been required to correct one surgery's major fuck up. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but it's a bit curious.
I can't really see with both my eyes. When I focus with my right eye, this left eye looks really out and crazy. When I focus with my left eye, my right eye looks really out and crazy. You guys were asking me why I didn't wipe the blood off my face. It was because I didn't want to disturb or touch anything, but I guess we're going to wait at least another week or two to see how wonky things are. Some of you guys might be saying that like my right eye looks a lot different, but that's because the upper eyelid ptosis was done incorrectly the first time, so I would use the bottom of the eye as more of a gauge of that, and they look pretty even to me. So still only like 1 day post-op, so give it at least 2 or 3 weeks before we can see where we're at.
And what's really sad about all of this is while he's dealing with 2 legal proceedings, he's almost gotten arrested by the DMV because of something, I don't know, really. This man is just on I don't know what he's on. He's doing some crazy shit. But the sad part about all of it is after the surgery, the guy can't see properly. His eyes are still crossed. His eyelids are still messed up. And in the best case scenario, as he says right here,
we're just gonna have to see in a month or two how the vision is and get an idea of, what additional procedures we're gonna have to get. There's a chance, the best case scenario is that we just need the upper eyelid procedure because my right eyelid is still way off. Like my right eyelid is still way higher than my left. So there's a chance that that's the only procedure we need. I guess that's the best case scenario.
Yeah, he's gonna need more procedures, even in the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, he has to get 3 or 4 more procedures. A commenter said on this post too, 99% of people quit before their 593rd eye surgery, and it would have solved all their life's problems. And he's got a point. How many surgeries can you get to reconstruct your eyes before you kind of have to just realize that things aren't going to get better? Things are not going to get any better. I don't understand what this guy is doing to himself. He used to produce such rich and helpful content, but it has turned into this content about lip injections, jaw reconstruction surgery. He's gotten so many different surgeries, right? And at first he blamed it all on his parents and how they raised him and how they ate processed foods. And that's how he became the way he is and why he needed to do all these corrective surgeries. But then it just transformed into the government's working against him. He has these like psyops working against him and all of these different things. It really does get to a point where you have to really just question, like, what is going on? Is this man okay in the head? Like, or things, I don't know, man. I don't know. It really just makes you realize that if you think you got it bad, just realize that there's people who have it good and are suffering detrimentally without even having anything necessarily wrong with their life. And truly, just being attractive, just having money, just having nice things isn't enough. Usually you have to look for that next best thing, and it is what we call the hedonic treadmill. Once you start moving, it keeps moving faster. And then you get to a sprint, it's going to go faster. You're going to need to absolutely do a full-out sprint. And at a certain point, you're not able to run any faster. And life's fulfillment stops being so fulfilling. It seems like everything you do isn't giving you what you want. And that's where Frank is at the end of the day. He's reached the end of that hedonic treadmill. He's trying to sue everybody and anybody to get his money's worth. He's trying to earn $400,000 through a GoFundMe type thing or a Give, Send, Go to correct all of his surgeries through other surgeries and get more plastic surgeries to pay for lawyer fees. I mean, he's literally at his wit's end trying to correct these issues. And I can't help but just ponder what would have happened to Frank if he had never gotten any surgeries in the first place and he just continued to post like he posted after his bodybuilding competition, which, by the way, this is where everything started, a bodybuilding competition. I don't know. Let me know what you think. It's kind of a sad story, kind of a crazy spectacle to look at. Definitely interesting.